guys, it's Manvina, aka the Crafty Lefty, and I'm going to be showing you today a DIY tutorial on how to make these 3 Thanksgiving place cards. They do require some crafty supplies, but don't worry, I'll tell you which ones. So pull up a chair and let's get started. So now we're going to be making this 3D pumpkin place card, and these are the supplies that you're going to need. A pair of scissors, a glue stick, a leaf ribbon that has wire in it, a ruler, something like a pen or a pencil that you can wrap the wire around, a Sharpie, tape, orange cardstock, cream, white or off-white cardstock, and brown or bronze paper. For this brown bronze paper, I do recommend using regular lightweight paper, not cardstock, because you're going to be accordion folding it for your stem of the pumpkin. So it's easier to do that when you have a lighter paper weight. This is going to be roughly 1 inch by 1 inch. These measurements are all approximate. You don't need to be hard and fast. You need enough orange cardstock to punch out 4 of your circles, 2 inches in diameter. And then you're going to need roughly 6 inches tall by 4 1/4 inches wide for your place card. That's the size that looks good once you adhere your pumpkin to it, and it gives you enough room to write your name as well. Some of the optional items that you might need are a bone folder and a 2-inch punch. If you don't have a 2-inch punch, you can certainly cut these circles out by hand. It's not that difficult, but obviously it makes everything easier if you do have a punch. And I'm going to drop a link for where you can get this down below. Okay, so let's get our materials ready. For our cream background, I'm just going to fold it in half so that it will be like a little tent standing up for the place card. Like that. Okay, so I'm just going to start folding my bronze or brown paper in an accordion fold. I'm going to try to get this stem as thin as possible because then I can get more folds out of this 1 inch by 1 inch square. So at the end, that's kind of what it looks like. And then I'm going to cut it at an angle so that it kind of looks how a pumpkin stem does, because it's always at a slant, if you can see that. And I'm just going to tape him at the base so that he stays closed. It's probably too long of a piece of tape. That's okay. Just going to wrap him around several times so that he's super secure, and then I'll cut off the excess like that. Okay, and if you just hold him here, you can sort of fan open the stem so it looks like that. Now we're going to take our 2-inch punch. I always like to turn it around so I can see what I'm doing. And we're just going to punch 4 orange circles. Now that I have my orange circles, I'm going to fold each of them in half. And to make my pumpkin, I'm just going to put some glue on this flat side and start building my pumpkin on top of each other by gluing and adding the half circles on top of each other. Now I've glued all of my half circles together, and when I open it up like this, that's what you're gonna see as the front of the pumpkin, and the back can lay flat. Now before this is totally glued, what I'm gonna do is that stem that we were working with before, there's 4 half circles. I'm gonna put it between the second and the third one so that it's directly in the half. And I'm just gonna pinch this together so that he stays in place like that. And he still is pretty secure in there, if you can see. Is we're gonna cut a piece of this wire that's roughly 6 inches long. So I know there's lots of different ribbon out there that has leaves on it, but you're gonna wanna make sure that you find one that has a wire, because that's the only way you're gonna get those curls to stay in place. So let's go ahead and cut 6 inches roughly. And we're just going to kind of loop our wire around a pencil or anything that's round so it can get super tight in that coil. And because it's wire, we can always adjust it later. Okay, so it's super tight, and I'm going to pull it apart a little bit just so I can find the center. It's roughly here. So this is the bit that's gonna go behind the stem, but I am going to secure this in the back with a piece of tape. Now I'm just going to adjust him in the front. And if you don't want to make it so he's exactly centered, if you want more of a vine coming on one end than the other, that's totally fine. So the way that I like to adhere the pumpkin to the place card is by using foam squares. I think it gives it a little bit of dimension, and the foam squares are super strong, so they're not going to go anywhere. So I'm just going to put one in the center like that, and one just below. I'm gonna kind of make him off to the side because I want to make sure my name is going to fit on the right. And then I'm just going to firmly press down with my fingers. So now I'm just going to take a Sharpie and put a name right there. Now we're going to be making this flower place card on a wooden disc, and these are the supplies that you'll need. Okay, y'all, we are ready to get started with our second Thanksgiving place card. For this one, all you're going to need is some hot glue, paper flowers in whatever color you like, an oval wood piece. This is roughly 3.5 inches in diameter, but you can get this at any of the Crafty Trinity, Joann's, Michael's, or Hobby Lobby. You're going to need some foam squares, those are double-sided, a Sharpie in whatever color you want, and then you're going to need a cream or a gold or an off-white piece of paper. This can be regular paperweight or cardstock. We just want to make sure it's light enough where the name is going to show up with your Sharpie, but bold enough that it adds something extra to your place card. All right, so the first thing I've done is lay out my paper flowers in the design that I want them to be. These particular paper flowers did come with leaves, which I thought was pretty cool. So I wanted to just add those as an accent to just break up the flowers a little bit and to have something else going on at the place card. I actually liked how these flowers kind of wrapped around the curves of the oval. And it kind of went with the shape, so I like that a lot, so I wanted to incorporate that. But you can get these paper flowers, again, at any of the Crafty Trinity, Hobby Lobby, Joann's, or Michael's. Some of them do come with wire on the back, so that you can loop them around for bobby pins or any kind of craft that you're doing where you need to secure it with that wire. These ones did not come with the wire, so I didn't have to worry about it. If you do get the paper flowers with the wire, it's okay. Just take a pair of scissors and cut them off. I wanted them to be in more of like Thanksgiving, kind of like rustic muted colors, which is why I picked these ones. Something else to keep in mind on this oval piece is it's also meant to double as something that you can hang. And so they usually always come with this hole here, which is really handy if you're gonna make this into an ornament or something like that. But because I don't want that hole to show, so I'm gonna put one of my flowers right over that hole so that you can't see it. So the very first thing I'm gonna do is just put hot glue on the flattest part of my flower so that it sticks to the wood. Something else you could do is you can totally cover your wood piece with cardstock in any color. Again, I kind of wanted that wood look to come through, and it kind of goes with the natural look of my flowers. So I didn't want to cover it with cardstock, but that's also another option. I think that would be cute if you had sort of a Thanksgiving cardstock print of some kind, and then you covered it with flowers that match that. And we're working with hot glue, so just gotta be super quick about it. All right, and then we're just gonna do our leaf. And I want to tuck him in so he's coming out of that last flower at an angle. So now I can take my gold piece of paper and cut an oval out. I do have an oval punch. I'll drop the link for this below in case you're interested in getting it. But I'm just gonna take my paper and punch. I wanna show you what happens when you write on the actual piece of wood. See how my Sharpie is bleeding into the sides? So obviously I did not want that look, which is why I'm using a piece of paper and then double stick foaming it to my place card. It actually takes off some of the pressure of writing directly on here, because if you mess up, you can just cut another piece of oval paper and write it over again. I have already written my name here, and now I'm gonna take some foam squares. You can certainly hot glue this oval piece. I actually like the idea of foam squares because I like how it's picking up a little bit from that wood piece, and it's giving it like a little bit of a three-dimensional look. And you can just tuck it into your leaves here. So it's kind of nestled in between all those leaves. So it makes it seem like you did it first and then you put the leaves on top, but you're really just picking it up. So now we're going to be making this 3D leaf place card, and these are the supplies that you'll need. We have varying colors of paper. This can be cardstock or regular weight paper. So these are going to be your leaves, so whatever color you want your leaves to be. Your actual place card, so this needs to be in cardstock, and any kind of cream, tan, off-white, white, whatever color you want. Some foam squares, and I am using the smaller foam squares because our leaves are a little bit on the smaller side. A leaf punch. And it doesn't have to be this exact punch. There's a lot of them out on the market in the Crafty Trinity right now. So I'll drop a link for a lot of different options below. A glue stick, a Sharpie to write your name at the end, a bone folder, optional, and a ruler to cut out your place card. So this is roughly 4 inches by 5 inches. And remember, you are folding that in half. So we're just going to fold our place card in half. And you can use a bone folder to kind of smooth out that fold. It's totally up to you. And because it is cardstock, we want to make sure that it has no problem standing up as a 10. Next, we're going to be taking our paper and cutting them with our leaf punch. I do find it easier to look on this side and punch. And I'm actually just going to punch a couple of leaves from every color, just so I have some options when I'm building my place card. Now that our leaves are all cut out, we can kind of look at our place card and see where would be an appropriate place to add all of these leaves. So I think I might do one like this, maybe the bronze kind of hanging like this. Green. Kind of want to show off that dainty stem, so I kind of like how he's hanging out on the side. So I'm going to go ahead and glue my first layer down, and then I will show you how to make that 3D look. So I'm going to take this red leaf and I'm going to take my pencil and just kind of fold it around. And maybe I'll do the same thing for orange. This is where you're going to need your foam squares. So I'm just going to take a foam square and put it on the back. And I want to kind of space out the color a little bit. So maybe I'll have it going like this, because there was already a red on this side. And then maybe I'll do orange in the middle. Maybe with the stem like this. And maybe I'll do green at the end. So you can take your pen or pencil and go back and make these a little bit more folded. You can just zhuzh them a little bit with your fingers also. But yeah, that's what it looks like. So after I made my place card, I realized that I did kind of want to highlight the name a little bit rather than just writing it on the place card itself. So I kind of made this frame, and I realized it's optional. You don't have to make a frame. You could certainly just take a Sharpie or any marker and write it directly on the place card. But I kind of liked how the frame looked, and it also just gave you a different option besides writing straight on the place card as I did with the 3D pumpkin. It just gave you another option for how you wanted to write the name. So in case you want to go with this frame look, then you're going to need a darker colored paper and a lighter colored paper where you would actually write the name. And so you can just cut these in any rectangle of your choice. And I decided to glue this darker colored paper flat on my place card, but then for the actual name card, I did use foam squares because I wanted that 3D look for it to lift up a little bit, and it kind of goes along with the 3D look of the leaves as well. So this is another option for you. Hey y'all, thanks so much for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed making these Thanksgiving place cards with me. If you made them at home, I'd love to see how y'all's turned out, so please send me some pictures. And until next time, keep it crafty. Bye!